Hello everyone, welcome back. We are still here at the Comic-Con and we're here to have fun. We're here to take interviews, take photos, and also stay tuned to what is going on here at this year's Comic-Con.
Toronto Comicon, welcome to Linda Ballantyne, aka Sailor Moon, Katie Griffin, aka Sailor Mars, and Zoe Proctor, aka Tuxedo Mask!
If you build it, they will come, and they come in masses in Toronto.
Oh, nice!
Yeah, babies.
Thanks for coming, everybody. This is so fun. Wish I didn't wear these shoes now that I'm up here.
Yeah, I know. It's a little high.
Now that I'm
little
really
shady.
Yeah, and also, if anyone's gonna wipe out, it's gonna be me.
Does anybody have an Allen key? We can just like, anybody from IKEA here? Just.
If you were sitting in the first 3 rows, you might need to catch one of us. Just so you know.
Brace yourself.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. I just slipped into something a little more comfortable to start us off. I'm not going to wear it the whole time because I'll probably strangle myself, to be honest. Yeah. It'll pop on maybe in a bit. So, how's Toronto Comicon been for you?
Oh my! This has delivered. We live in Toronto. You are our peeps. And as proof of this,
Oh, here
one
she goes.
moment, please.
We're proud Canadians. I want you to know I should have partaked in this, but I couldn't find my... Wait for it. Wait for it. There's that, and there's that.
Oh, I'm all that.
Yeah, I have a Blue Jays one.
My team, baby. They're my babies.
Yeah.
I can already say these antics are wasted in a voiceover booth. You should all be on camera all the time.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
We
Oh, I
should
hate on camera. Our camera and I do not get along.
Really?
As soon as they turn on a camera, I go. And when I was auditioning for things, it'd be like, okay, you're gonna be the nice mom, and I'd be like, okay, so you're gonna call your kids in for dinner. Dinner. Can you be nicer? Sure. Dinner. Look like I'm gonna murder my kids at any given moment. And I might.
Okay, so maybe it's better then that someone can animate a smile over your face. Or your voice, rather. Change the mood. Sounds good. So everything's been good so far. I'm sure you've seen, as today, a lot of people dressed up like characters that might be familiar to you. Any standouts?
Oh, I saw a lot of little young Sailor Mars people walking around. And that was pretty exciting because that's generational, right? Got little 5-year-olds dressed up as Mars. That's pretty amazing.
I got to see.
You look awesome
yeah.
too.
Well, and the rare Tuxedo Mask sighting because he's usually doing really busy stuff. This Tuxedo Mask 3D printed the mask, and it looks so good. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's great, because I think Tuxedo Mask is one of my favorites. A bit of a deep cut as far as characters go. Usually you get one of the Sailor folks, but great to know we have some Tuxedo Mask fans here. It's a little hard to see, any Tuxedo Masks in the house?
Oh, no, it's okay.
Oh, don't
Any Tuxedo Mask fans? That was cheap. That was
Good-
cheap.
good
I won't do that
recovery.
again. I won't do that.
I'd say that Tuxedo Mask guys will probably show up a little late.
Yeah. That was good.
Little canonical joke there. So here's how today's gonna work. We're going to sort of talk a little bit first up here, and then of course we are going to open things up to questions from the audience. So if you have a question, or if you have the seed of a question sort of germinating, think about it now, you will have a chance to ask. But I'd like to start things off. So Katie and Toby, from sort of the early days of the show had already come out in Japan, but not North America, definitely not in Canada. So what did you know about this show when you went into audition?
Nothing. I was working on camera, so I was doing lots of on-camera stuff, and the original Tuxedo Mask, Reno Romano, was my boyfriend at the time, and he's like, "You have to audition. First of all, you look like Ray. I have really, really long black hair or dark brown." And I was like, "What is voiceover? What are you talking about? That's just crazy talk." And then I auditioned, and Ray was the very first voiceover series that I ever did. So Sailor Mars, we had no idea what it was, and to get thrown into anime, dubbing anime, which is basically karaoke, but it's like it was pretty hardcore. So no, I had no idea. You didn't know, did you?
No. So just really quick story. How I was asked to do this. I've been an actor since I was a little guy, doing like theater and some television. But a friend of ours was teaching an animation microphone technique course. And that person happened to be Tracy Moore, who was the original American Sailor Moon. She was also the first director of the first few episodes. I didn't know this. So she was teaching this animation course, and she said, "You should try this." I'm like, "I'm a terrible reader." And she goes, "No, but you should do it." So I went, and I went the first day, and I hate cold reading. I'm like really nervous reading in front of people. I did it, and then she pulled me aside, as well as just one other guy out of the 13, I guess it was, and said, "Look, if you work on your reading, you can do this for the rest of your life." I'm like, whatever. I'm 20, I'm not really listening. And so I do my thing, I go about my day, and then about 2 weeks later, I get an audition for something, and they say, "Oh, you need to go now. Just go to this address," which happened to be at the place that we were eventually going to record Sailor Moon. I didn't know this. And I go into the studio, and they say, "Oh, just read these lines. In fact, just listen to this guy's voice for a second. Don't match it. Do something like it." So I did, and I walk away, and that's it. And then I get a page, because I was back in from the Stone Age, and I went to my phone booth, and I called my agent, and they said, "Hey, congratulations, you got Sailor Moon." And I'm like, "That's amazing, what is Sailor Moon?" And they said, "The thing you just auditioned for." I said, I'm drawing a blank here. And it come to about 2 weeks later, I started to record Sailor Moon. I started to see that I was a guy in a tuxedo that threw roses ballistically, and then that's how we knew nothing about it. Knew nothing.
Yeah.
So because the show was so popular and they were bringing in this huge property, did they work really hard to sort of bring you up to speed, or did they just let you find your own voice?
They told us nothing. So they showed us a bit of the Japanese anime, which for me, because I'd never done a single thing, it was a lot. It was a lot to take in, and they didn't tell us what it was or what we were doing. And we also had a very French producer that we couldn't understand, but she was really hyper. So she'd be always like, "Teddy, get in there!" And I'm not going to try and do the French accent because it's terrible, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. But she was just crazy, and we never knew what she was talking about. She was just like, "Go, do it!" Okay.
But they also didn't give any scripts. Yeah, that sounds crazy. They literally did not give anyone any scripts. And it wasn't even like when you walked in, they went, "Okay, now we will give you the script." In like, click, click.
Is this for, was it privacy reasons?
No. It was insanity.
Organization reasons.
Yeah, organization probably, but also insanity reasons. They thought that it would be like us speaking off the top of our heads if we just saw the words for the first time as they scrolled across.
Oh, so it's literally karaoke.
It's literally
Old school,
karaoke.
worse than karaoke.
Yeah, it's karaoke to a song you don't know.
Right.
I don't know this song.
So did you have enough time then to do multiple takes, or did you still feel the pressure to get it right the first time?
Oh yeah, get it right the first time. This was like, it was a factory, man. Come on, let's go, keep moving. So usually, maybe you do 2 takes,
Yeah.
maybe.
Wow, are you
Now,
serious?
if I can add to this, because it is like professional karaoke, so there's this thing that it's like the words in
Rhythm band.
Yeah, rhythm band. These giant words go by the time they hit this bar, you have to end or stop or end the word. However, there are things called reacts, so it'd be R-E-A-C in brackets, but we don't know the story yet because they haven't given us the script. We don't know anything that's going on yet, so our first pass is always pretty great. You know, you're doing your thing and, Serena, how come blah, 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 and then something happens and reacts, and I go, ha-ha! But it turns out I've been stabbed. So, the second pass is always better for the reaction. It's just like, oh, I get it. I should probably tone that down a little bit. Maybe it's more like a, yeah.
And the other thing is with that show, because there was so much screaming and so many different powers. Why am I trying to? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But we had to scream all the time. We had so much to do. Regular animation, original animation, where you can we call the shots and then they draw it later. They have something called the library. So all of our calls, we could have just put in the library and they could have just brought them up, but every single time we were in there, we were screaming absolutely at the top of our lungs for 4 hours at a time. Yeah,
And then they'd say, okay, so now do your moon, cosmic, and I'd be like, moon, cosmic hour. Is that good? And I'd like literally say to them, can we just use the one that we used the other day, please? And they're like, no, Linda, we're paying you for this.
Touche.
Yeah.
Now, Katie, when you talk about a library, so is that, for example, like, we have 8 Sailor Moon oofs?
Yes.
Or so, okay.
Yes. Yes, like just little things. Like when you do any animation, they'll say, okay, it's time to do the library. This is after the first episode. So if all of a sudden you're getting hit, they'll say, okay, so do 3 different screams, 1 short, 1 medium, 1 long. And you'll be like, ah, 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 and this big scream. But that didn't happen with Sailor Moon. It was just constant screaming. And then, so one of the calls, so Mars had the best one. So later on in the series, they kept changing them up. It was Mars Star Power, I think, first, or I don't even remember.
I'm sure people
Yeah.
The experts out here.
Yeah.
The experts will know, because it was 30 years ago. It was a long time. But then it got really, really good for me, because I'm still screaming at the top of my lungs, and then it was Mars Celestial Fire, and then I'd faint. No.
Honestly, I think doing some of those sessions would be really tiring, and you would start to feel crazy by the end, because you're just, for so long, like, just hearing your own
Well, I
voice.
remember one where, like, specifically, like, I hurt my ankle or something, whatever it was, and apparently there's a different sound if you hurt your shoulder. It's a right?
It's the
It doesn't sound ankle enough. Like, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, even kind of weirder still was, I don't know why they did this with my character, but for some reason, they always wanted any eye movements my character made, I had to make a noise for. So it was like, and just so always, and like, so after we do pass again, okay, let's go back and do the eye movements now. And so I'd be sitting there, and some of them they used, some of them they didn't use, but it starts to get into your head.
Yeah, so when you left a shift and go get a coffee, are you like,
Yeah, yeah, like the guy says, would you like cream in that?
They're like hitting the panic button under the counter. Like,
Exactly.
So now, Linda, when you came in, the show was already established. So these two kind of, maybe it was a blessing in a way to not have that pressure, but you already knew there was this massive fandom.
Okay, so that's a blessing, not having...
Well, you tell me.
There is pressure. Oh yeah, there's pressure. So I went in for the audition and found out that I got the part. Yay, I got the part. I'm like, oh my God, I got the part of Sailor Moon. This is so exciting. And so I go down, my husband's down in the basement with his buddy Tony, and you know, they're just hanging out, and I went, hey, I got Sailor Moon. And my husband goes, oh no way, what part? I'm like, I got Sailor Moon. And his buddy Tony goes, oh no way, whoa. Well, I hope you're good, because my kids are going to be watching. And that's when the penny dropped, and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yes.
I'm the other Barney.
Right.
You know, you watch the Flintstones, and you like one Barney, and you don't like the other. It's like, oh no, no! And they had me screaming so so high and making me do things that I was not comfortable with, that I didn't think was right for the character, and it drove me insane to begin with doing that part. And every day I would come home crying. Literally, I would come home crying going, this is so, they just want me to go higher and higher and more shrill, and I hate this so much. It's not what the character should be. And my husband would say, you gotta make it your own. And I'd say, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not the voice actor. And then I'd go back, come home the next day, I hate this. You really should make it your own. Shut up, idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. And so finally one day on my way to work, I said, I've had enough. I'm done doing this shrill stuff. I'm done, everything I'm doing is like, what? I'm like, ah! And so I went in there and I just decided, okay, I want to do this my way. I want to do this so that it's this teenage girl who she's a kid, really. But on the other hand, she wants to be a grown-up. So she's like that little crossover, and she's got the weight of the world on her shoulders. So what are you going to find in that? You want to find the fun, because she wants to have fun. But you also want her to have the seriousness as well. And I tried to sort of marry the two at that point. And they didn't question what I'd done. They didn't question what I was doing at all. Suddenly it was just, okay. And I had the best session that day. I walked out of there going, okay, this is now becoming mine. And I went home and my husband says, how was your day today? And I said, it was really good, really good. He was like, wait, I thought you were doing Sailor Moon today. I'm like, yeah, I was. He said, what happened? I said, I finally figured it out. I just had to make it my own.
So fantastic that fit in and you didn't get pushback from that. For either of you, because I know there were certainly Japanese voice actors and in some cases English voice actors, did you have to match up or did you get to branch out?
When I first auditioned for Ray, I sounded, Karen Bernstein, who played Sailor Mercury, we sounded very, very similar. So the only thing that had to change, we did hear all the voices, but I don't think they cared quite as much as with the pitch for it. They just wanted to make sure everybody was separated. So we went into the booth a few times and because at first, initially, the voice that I was doing was really, really high and so was hers. And then so I dropped down and Ray was a lot more grounded, which made sense because she meant business.
And it made it a bit easier for you, I bet.
Yes.
That's right, find that optimum pitch where you're not just screeching for hours and hours. And Toby, what about yourself?
Yeah, like I said, when I did the audition, Reno Romano had done the 10 episodes before me, and so they had just a vocal clip of his, and they said, this isn't a vocal match. I'm like, good, because I don't do that. I just started doing voice, so I had no idea. They said, no, but just kind of match the kind of tonality, the cadence, if you can. I'm like, okay, so I listened to what he did, and I was like, he sounds really cool. I'll try to be that guy. And then I guess it somehow worked. I tricked them.
Fantastic, because once you're locked in, that's what you've got to do the whole run of it.
You know what, and yeah, just to quickly say that, because again, I was not a good reader, and I was great that I got the job, and same like Linda, kind of the penny drops, like, oh my gosh, my job is reading? What? Like, at least with like on camera, you have time, you can memorize, you have weeks sometimes. This is like cold, go in cold, I'm like, oh my gosh, because you have the screen, you have a script, and then you have a reference monitor, right? So I'm like, it's like driving standard. It was crazy, but it was a skill that by the 6th episode, it was like, okay, we're getting it, it's cool.
You dropped 3 references that have seriously dated you, which is a pager, a phone booth, and a standard car.
I know what that means. Is that not a thing anymore?
You wind it up before you get it.
That's right. Yeah. No one drives cars anymore, they drive themselves. Anyway, Katie, you were going to say something, I think?
Oh, I was just going to say, but just to add to what Toby's saying, but we're not just looking at a script. Because it was this crazy rhythm band karaoke thing, it wasn't just the words. Like if you see karaoke now, it's printed, or it's not printed, it's typed. Oh my God, now
it's like a cursive. See what I'm doing? It was written out.
Cursive,
that's right, on a chalkboard.
Written out but it was written out by someone who was French, trying to translate to English, and she was writing cursive on this. So now you're trying to actually decipher what the word is. Oh, it was crazy.
And if they had a whole bunch of us in one scene, they had all of our lines scrunched in, and she's literally writing this, film for a movie.
Yeah.
She's literally writing it on clear film. Do, each one. And so you'd be going, what? Which one? What color am I?
Oh my gosh.
Even at the very end of the show, so even when I did most of Ray's episodes. And I still, to the very bitter end, had no idea what was happening until after the fact when I started watching it on TV, like YTV had it, because I was like, I need to know what's happening. Because we'd get episode 3, then we get episode 26, and scenes here and there. I had no idea what was happening. So fans would ask us at Comic-Cons, so episode 7, when this was happening, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
She'd be like, Toby, save me.
What did I do, Toby?
Totally. So wow, there's so much to ask about there. So because you only got 2 takes, for example, and you had this very strange way of recording, is there anything that made it in that you heard or saw and were like, oh no, that take?
All of them.
Okay.
So much. I hated what, well, I was lucky to do it, but because I'm young and I look back, I'm like, whoa. So I would do things so differently.
But we didn't have room for it. So I actually feel like, you know what, we did okay, Toby.
Yeah, everyone, collective high five up here.
Yeah.
We're bringing back high fives too, by the way.
Yeah, whatever.
I support it.
I understand what that is.
Thank you.
So a lot of the time for performers or voice actors, definitely you finish a job and you go and you get another job and you move on and you never reference back to that job. But here you are now, 30 years later, suddenly seeing the way this thing grew and grew. It's not that it stayed the same, it's become such a phenomenon. What is that like?
Oh my God, it's magic.
It is magic. It's once in a lifetime, I'll tell you that. Because we've all had careers for 30 years doing hundreds of, not thousands, well maybe 1,000, I don't know how many, but a lot of shows. And so the only show that really, you'll never get this again. This is special. This has gained momentum. This is insane.
And the best is that all of our friends that are also actors are like, so what do I do to get into this? Like, you know, how did you do it? It's like, well, you gotta be like the first anime. Oh, already did it. Let's see, what else could you try? Not sure.
Yeah, no, but it's not lost on us because you could have a hit show, and there are shows that have been super successful that we've done, but you wouldn't go to a Comic-Con for it. You wouldn't have all this fan love because this show in general, the storylines, the characters, everybody had it related to their childhood and saved people's lives, like for real. I'm not even joking about
Well,
that.
after I got Tuxedo Mask, the very next week I got cast as Flash Gordon in the Flash Gordon series in the 90s that was 1 season. Everybody thought this crazy Sailor Moon thing was gonna go nowhere, and this Flash Gordon thing was gonna go, oh, they had so much money, and it was like crazy, you know, it was such a weird thing. So I record Sailor Moon in the morning, and then go across the street and record Flash Gordon for 6 months, and I did it, and that's how, but you know what, like, this is a special being, this one, because there's so much love, and I think it goes across so many different people. Like, there's something for everybody. If you look at all the scouts, there's somebody in there for you, and I think it's a pretty special story. And I also like that there's romance involved in this story because there's a lot. There's not really a lot of. There's a lot of action, in series, but not a lot of romance.
And I like that it's girl power.
Yes!
Not trying to be all gay or anything.
Well, I was one of the only guys, so my odds were pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. And so I watched it as a kid in a suburb of Toronto called Oakville, and Oakvillians in the house. And I thought Tuxedo Mask was so cool, and I wanted to be like Tuxedo Mask. In reality, it was a bit more like, I think his name is Melvin, who has like hypnotic glasses and just walks up to people and says a non sequitur and then just toddles off into a field. That was kind of my jam. But still, so great to have an animated role model like that. So how did the three of you then, as you know, the train sped away from the station with you on it with this show, how did you get involved in the convention world, and what's that been like?
Is Jack here? Is Jack Buchanan here?
Woo!
Stand up, Jack.
Let's hear it for Jack Buchanan.
All right, so I'm minding my own business at home. Sailor Moon was done 8,000 years ago. It's out of my mind. It's out of my mind. And out of nowhere, I get this note from this Jack Buchanan guy. Dear Miss Valentine, huge Sailor Moon fan. I was wondering if you would consider going to a Comic-Con in Toronto. And I'm like, what's a Comic-Con? Well, it's you know, explains what the Comic-Con is. He says there's lots of cosplay, which I read cosplay. What's cosplay? Well, and he was very patient. You were very patient with me, Jack. You're very patient, and I'm like, so what? He said, yeah, I think that I think people would really like to meet you at one of these Comic-Cons, and I'm like, you know what, Jack, thank you very much, but I think that you're probably the one person on the planet who wants to. To which Jack wrote, with all due respect, I think you were probably wrong. And I said, oh, and I was like, okay, all right, you know what, Jack? Don't even know who you are, Jack. You're really getting aggressive with me here, Jack. Yes, all right, I'll see what I can do. I will reach out to them and see what they say. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, I'm not gonna reach out to these guys. No one's gonna wanna see, like, what, really? And then I'm like, oh, wow, Linda, you've got one fan in the entire world and you're actually gonna lie to him? That's not very Canadian. So I'm like, okay, what was the name of this thing? Okay, so I write to this con, I'm like, hi, listen, I don't know if you're interested at all, but I'm Linda Ballantyne and I was the voice of Sailor Moon, and I don't know if you'd be interested in having me at your con. Yes, yes we would, yes we would love to. And I'm like, oh my God, oh no, they're gonna be throwing rotten fruit and vegetables at me. They're not gonna wanna see me there. I've gotta get a human shield in front of me. Hey Katie, what are you doing next weekend? Do you wanna come to a Comic-Con?
What's a Comic-Con?
Yeah, apparently they do cosplay there.
Oh, what's cosplay?
It's supposed to be really cool. Would you please come with me, please?
You're getting the improvised Sailor Moon scene
Yes.
you didn't know you wanted, but you needed.
I don't know, Linda. You're such a meatball head.
Let's get Susan involved too. We could use her as a human shield as well. So
Sailor Jupiter.
Yep, so we got her there too. Were you in that one too?
I was not.
No, you weren't at that one. And we went there, and as soon as we walked in, this girl walks over to me, and she's dressed as something strange that I don't know what it is. I'm like, ooh, is this cosplay? And she walks over and she sees my badge that I've got on. It says Linda Ballantyne guest, and she's like, Linda Ballantyne, the voice of Sailor Moon. And I'm like,
I was there, and that's exactly what Linda did.
yes, I am. And she goes, now I've met two of you. And she walked away. And I thought, if this is as awful as this is going to be, this is like going to be a fantastic weekend. I love this.
And I remember, I don't even know if it was that one. It may have been the next one. It may have been Van Expo at some point. But I remember you were there too, and we were walking, and there was this huge lineup. I'm like, oh, I wonder who they're lined up to see. And we had a panel, and we thought, oh, I don't know, maybe my sister will show up. She'll ask me some questions, and I'll be like, be quiet, Becky. But they were all lined up for us, and I just said, anyway, and that's when we kind of
yeah, there was like 400 people waiting in line, and then we get to the thing, and those 400 people weren't getting in because there's already 2,000 people already in there. And it was like,
Just wild.
Oh, it was so crazy. I had my phone, I was like taking video of everyone.
I was taking
I'm still gonna do
charcoal
that.
sketches of everybody. Stay still, I would say. No.
There you go, and it's such a testament because this is a COVID, hopefully the last, COVID Comic-Con, and we still have a packed room. So, imagine when everyone can move freely again. As someone with moderate social anxiety, that kind of freaks me out. This is my sweet spot, but it's coming back, right?
Oh, it's coming back. This is the first time, I know it sounds crazy, but because of COVID, we all kind of adjust. We make adjustments. For this weekend is the first time I've genuinely felt happy the whole time, and you don't realize you haven't been happy in months. Like you think, okay, no, this is a decent moment, things are okay, and then all of a sudden something happens where monumentally, I've been happy for 3 days, and I realize that it's because we're here.
my face is sore.
Yeah. I know this is gonna sound crazy, and I'm just gonna digress from all this, but I'm gonna FaceTime my mom and just show her. I'm gonna do that right now.
What's her name so we can all shout it?
Janice.
Get ready to say hi to Janice, everyone, okay?
I know that I'm being. I know this is
is
kind of
great.
non-professional.
I'm going to use this opportunity to put my headgear back on.
Yes. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's see.
Come on, Janice, pick up the call. No, she's gonna answer.
The phone.
Classic Janice if it goes to voicemail.
It could be. It's actually my dad's cell, but she'll
Oh, Dad, hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. I'm just gonna turn you around to show you a few of my friends.
3, 2, 1, go!
We're in a panel. There's my mom.
Hi, Janice!
Isn't that the best? Oh, yeah, you guys say something, because then you gotta be...
Oh, there you go. Some moonies.
Hi, babies.
Hi, Janice and your partner. You don't know me. It's great to see you.
All right, I gotta go. We're in a panel. I just thought it'd be really fun. All right.
Yay!
Okay, bye, guys.
So, I think that's the...
But they have to hang up, because I don't know how to.
Oh, this is going to take a while. So I'm going to make a segue while we troubleshoot those difficulties. So now we're going to move on to the question and answer period. Yes, this is your shining moment if you have a question. A quick note about a question and answer period. This is the trickiest part. What you say should be a question. It sounds easy, but a lot of the time you get up there and it's very exciting and you say something that ends in a period instead of a question mark. The trick is you want what you say eventually to end in a question mark so that these three lovely people can respond to you. So just keep that in the back of your mind. There you go. And as well, give them a pass. They recorded this 30 years ago, so if you say, season 2, episode 7, when you said da-da-da, they know, of course they know, but it might take them a while to remember.
I'll just be honest and say I don't know.
Katie doesn't know, so give her a big pass. So we don't have a microphone, so the way this is going to work, if you have a question, you have to shout it. I'm going to repeat it, and then they're going to answer it. So let's start real close in the Stranger Things hoodie.
All right, so fun question. You guys were given $30 million, but you only had 30 days to spend it. What would you guys spend it on?
Oh, it's personal. So $30 million to each of them. They have 30 days to spend it. What would they spend it on?
I'd get seasons tickets to the Leafs and it would be gone.
Oh my God, that is the exact right answer. Just because she said that, I know I'm going to be copying, but I get the J's. I would do that, but that's not all I'm going to do. But I would have extra money. I'd have leftover money. The Leafs, you're done now.
I'm trying to be a forward thinker on this. I would spend at least $15 million to change all of the calendars to about 90 more days so I had more time to think about it.
Yes! Wishing for more wishes.
That's right, that's right.
Great. Question over there in the gray hoodie with the hat in your hand. That's you.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, so because Sailor Moon has been pretty much almost everyone's cornerstone for childhood superhero anythings, as your characters, could you say your favorite quote from the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Oh, from Marvel?
Whoa! So in case you didn't hear that, that's hard work. As their characters, they need to say their favorite cinematic quote from the Marvel Universe.
I got it.
I am Groot.
Did it in your voice.
That's my voice.
God's sake.
I am Groot.
Fantastic.
God.
How about, hello, Mr. Jameson? J. Jonah Jameson, my boss?
No, Spider-Man's my favorite. I can't think of an actual thing that he says, but he'd be bumbling around like, oh, I gotta do my voice though. See, you're challenging me.
Mary Jane, you hit the jackpot.
Oh, okay. Mary Jane. Oh, I gotta do it as Sailor Mars. It's like, wait, what was the line?
Mary Jane tells Peter Parker you hit the jackpot.
This is as stressful as that radio
Yeah, I
band
don't
thing
wanna
we were
do
talking
that.
about.
You hit the jackpot.
Yes! Give them a round of applause.
Oh,
That's
that was cute.
hard.
I could do better.
Way back in the corner, you've got to shout. That's, yeah, you. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I think this is a cameo request in disguise, so you should send them about $100 each to start after. What were the names again? So they need to say, congratulations on your wedding, Christian and Adrian.
Vivian.
I'm getting fired.
Way to go. Okay.
Why
Why don't you lead this, Lindy?
Sure. Hey, Christian. Wait, I gotta get my voice. Okay. Oh, Sailor Moon. No, that's not it. Oh, Tuxedo Mask. Hey, what are their names?
Don't ask me.
Christian and Vivian.
Hey, Christian and Vivian. Congratulations on your big romantic day.
Sailor Moon, you're such a meatball head. You always have to be first.
Serena, why are you talking to the guys?
Congratulations. Congratulations on your wedding, guys.
Do you need roses?
Because if you do need roses, they'll be late.
Beautiful. Nice job. You guys are going to get passed based on this. This is going to be real. Okay, let's see. Let's try over here with the checkered phone.
What was your favorite voice line for like a episode to record?
Favorite voice line or episode to record?
For sure, when Serena got drunk on juice. And then she was hungover afterwards. Life imitating art, art imitating life.
My favorite, it wasn't so much a line, but every once in a while I would get to record with Linda and we would do the raspberry. So when at the time, because I'd never seen anything, I was like, how is that gonna look? Because they're spitting at each other, but we have a picture of it and it's like the best thing ever. So if I ever see them like spit, sorry, now I'm spitting. Oh my God, COVID time, really? Now I'm spitting in the whole front row. Who does that? I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm triple vaxxed. I think it's all fine. But anyway, that was my favorite. Like, or anything.
The arguing.
Yeah, and the arguing. Anything because she really.
What are you saying?
Yeah, why don't even touch it? You're just like talking around. I don't have time for you. Serena, this is, we're late.
No acting required. Toby, what about yourself?
I think actually the line that sticks out for me is the one that I auditioned with, which is, "Hey meatball head, what are you doing here? I thought for sure you'd be over there with your friends, especially since you're acting like total fools."
It's so weird to see people saying these things. Yes, in the green.
As someone who wants to get into whether on-screen acting or voiceover, what is like the biggest tips or like anything that you would want to tell someone who wants to do for the first time?
So the question was, if for someone who wants to get into acting or maybe voiceover acting, what's the best tip they have?
I would only say that do your research. Do not try and get an agent right away. You don't need to do all that. What I would be doing is taking as many classes as you can and getting intel. Because before you end up doing anything, a lot of people have already been doing all of these things. And you don't want to go in not knowing. You want to know everything. So you take the classes and you get it, and then you build up, and then you get a demo.
And don't do it until you are ready, because you're going to be walking into an audition room with us.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, because we still audition for things, right? Yeah. So you got to be ready. And
unless it's on camera, I feel like we won't be auditioning for the same parts.
I don't know.
Unless you're my daughter, you could be playing my daughter. Maybe you're even too young. Maybe I'd be your grandmother. I don't know.
I would also say get used to hearing the word no, because you're going to hear it probably a lot more than you hear the word yes, or you don't hear anything at all, quite frankly. And I know that sounds really negative to say, but believe me, we audition for so many things, and it's like, holy cow, there's just so much out there, and you don't get them all. So don't worry about that, just keep on going.
And one thing I love that you always say is, what's for you won't go by you. So don't worry about what you don't get. Just keep going.
And for you.
Fantastic. Front row over here.
Hi. So it's our first time here, and honestly, it won't be our last. But with that being said, what advice would you have? This is a question for all of you guys. So what question? My question is, for the next generation, what would you advise them on one piece of advice? Anything personal or professional?
Oh, that's
Watch
a
all the
good
Sailor
one.
Moon episodes. Watch Sailor Moon, kid.
Yeah, so I'll repeat that. Any advice for the next generation?
Actually, I have something from my character that I really do believe in. Believe in yourself, Sailor Moon.
Timeless advice.
Believe in
Well, maybe
yourself.
not with the Sailor Moon
But
part.
truly,
Unless
believe
your
in
child's
yourself.
name is Sailor
Yeah,
Moon.
believe in yourself,
Yep.
honestly.
And I would just say, no matter what, be kind. Because people won't be kind sometimes, but you be kind, and I'm getting emotional.
Yeah. And the person you are right now, that fun, crazy person, is exactly who you're going to be when you grow up.
Thank you.
Great advice. Yes, I mean, look at the insanity that has already happened on this stage, and they've got whole careers from it. Oh my gosh, how to choose. Venom in the middle back.
eats a lot of shrimp.
There you go.
It's like a flamingo. That's why flamingos are pink.
That's exactly right. Pink shrimp causes pink hair. We've got some shrimp eaters in the audience tonight, this afternoon. Yes, front row.
Hi. I just wanted to say that it's my birthday today, so...
Happy birthday! Let's sing!
Hey, I know a song.
What's your name?
Hey, I know a song.
What's your name?
My name is Yasmin.
Yasmin.
Come on.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jasmine. Happy birthday to
We've got some singers here too. Secret talents.
We gave Jasmine $5 to do that.
You get. Okay, I see how this works. Yes, right over here. You.
Why do you guys kill off characters right before you get to like them?
Oh, okay. So this question, I don't know if they were involved in these decisions. I'll broaden it.
That's a great question.
Why do you think popular characters die in TV shows just as people start to like them?
That's a very good question.
I think you
Great
have to
question.
speak to the showrunner about that.
Yes.
That's not a good thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the showrunner for Sailor Moon. Can you imagine they come out?
Future
Just-
showrunner, right there.
Yeah. Although I will say in Sailor Moon, often characters die and then come back to life, so that could solve your problem. Question right here in the gray coat.
Hi.
Oh, Toby, this includes you. So if you could play any Sailor Scout that you weren't, or Toby, any Sailor Scout, who would it be, and a villain as well, if you want?
My favorite villain, probably Luna. I don't know, but I think Sailor Mars.
Oh, yes.
Coming
you
for your
would.
gig.
I'm gonna say Sailor Jupiter, just because I'm pretty sporty in real life, but also a bad guy. Girl, woman. Zoisite.
Ooh, good one.
Why would I want to play any other character? I don't understand this question.
Enough said. We have time for 2 more questions. In all the green back there. That's yes, you.
Again, my name is Jay, and I'm playing Link from Zelda or Karina. And if you don't mind a little bit, I just picked the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Just
Nice.
don't be smashing any pots and trying to get any rubies from us. That's right.
Sailor Moon and Pokemon. What would you guys say? And Sailor Moon is Smash Brothers. What would you say?
I'd say, you're going down, Ash!
Is Pikachu like the tuxedo mask version of Pokemon?
That's a great question.
Like Pikachu's in the...
Or is he the Luna version?
Maybe Luna, yeah, you're right.
You could all cross over. Any interest in that? Any agents casting
Yeah.
Pokemon voiceovers in the audience? Future agents, maybe? Last question. I've got to go with the wand.
Well, I mean, first of all, growing up in the 90s, there weren't many series that featured empowered young women, so thank you for that. And at some point, how did it make you feel that you're these icons of girl power?
Great question, so I'll repeat that. So growing up in the 90s, it was great to see strong women on TV, definitely. And how did it feel to be representing a brand that really espoused those ideas of girl power?
What I really, really like about the show is that, no offense, Tux, but I like that he was in it, he was like a big part of it, but the biggest part was the camaraderie and the strength of these girls, and they took over the whole show. We've auditioned for 30 years, where we'll walk into a room and all the sides, they're called sides, but it's like a little bit of the script with the characters. And we've auditioned for 30 years, and we walk into the room, and they'll say, okay, pick a role, and you look at all the roles, and there's 20 roles, and 1 role for a girl. And all the guys have 19 roles to choose from. So we're like, can I play Earl? No, you cannot, Katie. Okay, then I guess I'll pick her. So when you look at Sailor Moon, and we're the strength of the show, it's amazing, it's incredible, and I think that now it's slowly evolving. But back in the early 90s, like we were ahead of our time.
And it feels like they dropped the ball a little bit in time. Like they had this show. It was so iconic and it was popular, and yes, it starred 5 strong females. 5 of them. And then there was a whole slew of female characters as well. And what has come since then? All guy parts. It's like, really? Do you not see how popular this is? That girls actually can do something.
Bring back Sailor Moon.
I was part of Totally Spies, so that was kind of, and I really think that they were, thanks. It's another girl power show. Ever. Silly.
Amazing. Obviously, there are so many more questions. I wish we had more time, but since we don't, please put your hands together for Linda Valentine, Kaden Griffin, Toby Parker!
Oh wait, do you want to hear our calls?
Wait, one more. We can't leave without doing our calls.
We're going to do our calls.
Get your cameras ready.
Oh, I love it. Everybody's going to do it.
And also,
Oh, come on! Yes!
I got the whole thing here.
Sound effects.
Given this today by Martin. Are you here, Martin? I don't know where he is, but anyways, he said, take this to your panel. You're gonna need it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need it. Okay, Katie, you're up.
Okay. Maybe turn off your call, your music. Mars, fire, ignite!
Moon, cosmic power!
One more round of applause, Toronto Comicon! Thank you so much.
Definitely come on. You guys are the best. We're still got about another hour or so of signing autographs, and that's it. So come now.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
You can still grab an